This is a Hot Pie Media original.
Well, that's kind of the ultimate trifecta, right? You've got, I don't know in which order, it doesn't really matter. Inflation, gas prices, and gambling. Oh, by the way, we may want to throw in a COVID variant in there too. Contessa Brewer is a rock star reporter for CNBC. You were at MSNBC one time?
Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was an anchor at MSNBC for 9 years.
Didn't they, I'm trying to remember now, because I actually thought the guy had a pretty good show. Didn't they do a bunch of sort of different talk shows? It wasn't all political, right? Remember Donnie?
Back in the day.
Is it Donnie Deutsch? Were you there then?
Yep.
Oh, is he okay? Or
I had survived a lot of iterations of MSNBC.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then, and then didn't. But it was my home. It was my professional home for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And that's sort of my coming of age.
Nice. I don't know why I just thought of that. I was just I was just thinking how many different. I don't want to say it's a dead end model, but I don't know. It seems like yelling on TV, talk show after talk show, seems to be a dead end model.
Well, I don't know. They've had so much success over the last few years. I mean, I think that the political divisions have really driven people to that kind of outlet, rather than straight news.
Right. Becoming an echo chamber works.
Yeah. First, I mean, we see it on social media, right? That the algorithms feed you more of what you are interested in, and then it takes you deeper and deeper into this hole where you think everyone thinks like you, and the only news, in quotation marks, that you're being given is what already reinforces what you think about the world.
Yeah.
That's problematic.
Yes.
It's problematic for the nation.
Yeah, I call it breathing your own exhaust fumes. But so Joe Biden, it's sticking to him, and I hate to be simple about economics, but it's pretty simple. He's now pitching to, and I don't know that I blame him for trying. I think there's probably selfish reasons for trying. He meets with CEOs of retailers and people like that, trying to free up you need to make sense of this. Free up the supply chain. Like Joe Biden's gonna tackle inflation all on his own. The basic question is, can he do anything?
I mean, I feel like speaking of beating dead horses.
Yeah.
If you don't have enough truck drivers to move the goods from the port to the middle of the country, how are you going to solve that? Are you going to get the National Guard to now go make toy deliveries? That doesn't make sense to me. It's not a simple problem. There's no one, he's asking.
Wait, is that an idea? Well, hang on. Is that an idea that the National Guard would deliver stuff?
Do you think that's a good idea?
I have to think about that.
I personally
I don't think so.
have a hard time envisioning a scenario where that makes sense.
Yeah.
I understand.
I'm a little uncomfortable if the military truck pulls up to my house to deliver toys. I have to admit.
And not just that. Like, okay, well, you know how to drive a convoy. Can you get behind the wheel of a big rig?
Okay.
I'm just saying, is there something the president could do? Yeah. Are they good options? I'm not so sure, because it's not a simple problem. There's no one magic bullet that's going to solve this whole thing. So getting the CEOs together of these retailers to say, how do we tackle a global supply chain bottleneck? That's great. The CEOs of these big companies have amazing logistics experts who are working on the problem day and night. If they all get together and put their brains together, can there be some free up? Yeah, but what are you going to do about coronavirus? If coronavirus shuts down borders, as we know it is, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to say to the president, hey, listen, your travel ban on South Africa doesn't make good sense because we need XYZ to come in from South Africa, and you've now banned all travel from South Africa? what are you going to do about coronavirus? It's part of it is, really deeply problematic, but part of it is that we're a bunch of spoiled consumers who want what we want, when we want it, and at the price that we want it. Do you know that the United States pays less for technology for these like gaming systems? We pay less for a Nintendo Switch than most other countries around the world. That's the way we want it. Yeah. We want to be able to go into Walmart and find not only shelves stocked with laundry detergent, but we want 13 different kinds of laundry detergent to choose from. So is it really a problem that we're paying more for the laundry detergent or that we're getting less choice for laundry detergent? I just think this is another thing for us to complain about. Inflation is a problem, and it's definitely a problem for families who don't earn much money. Gas prices are really a problem for people who don't make a lot of money. Again, then this brings us back to wages, right? If they earn a living wage and they're able to fill up a tank of gas easier, then it makes the price for the rest of us go up. And all of a sudden, when we're paying $100 for dinner rather than $65 for dinner, we notice it.
Yeah, right. There's the people that watch your channel understand the complexity of this. But what's disturbing to see and hear, and I can't help but think that him walking to the podium and saying, hey, I'm sorry, you want a bunch of stuff, demand is outstripping supply, good luck to you, is not an option for him. I'm wondering how much of this is just political optics because it's sticking to him. I mean, gas prices have always stuck to presidents, fairly or unfairly. Now more than ever, I would argue unfairly because there's not a heck of a lot to do. And people that say drill more, I mean, isn't the issue of gas prices that the providers have mismanaged themselves and Wall Street has said you need to have less supply so you can drive up the margins? I mean, to your point about some greed is going on every side and it's sticking to him, is it not?
Well, yeah. I mean, for sure, who's going to bear the brunt of higher gas prices? The president. Yeah. Because the buck stops with the president, right? When times are good and people are flush with cash, it's easy to give the president some credit. And when times are tough, and let's face it, times are tough for people at the lower rung of the ladder economically. If you are still saddled with childcare that hasn't fully reopened, or you're trying to work 3 jobs, but also your child's daycare is closing down because of a coronavirus outbreak, you're getting hurt if you don't have more resources than that. And yeah, that's going to hurt politically. Yes, the president is going to feel the pressure, especially from, members of Congress who are up for re-election in his own party. He's going to be feeling the heat from members of his own party to get out in front of this and try to reassure Americans that he's working on it. And I think, and it is hitting home. I'll give you 2 examples. One, I needed to get an antibiotic for my boys, and the antibiotic that my doctor prescribed was nowhere to be found. Our regular pharmacy had a half prescription available. The other pharmacies, we're checking all over, we can't find it. Is that a supply chain issue? Is that what's disrupting the supply of this? But suddenly I'm thinking, okay, well, this is not about can I get the deal on Nintendo Switch for Christmas? This is about can I get the medicine that I need for my kids? And that's where this becomes, more of a problem. And we saw this during the pandemic, when hospitals couldn't get the PPE they needed. But now, don't you think it's weird that we walk into a grocery store and the most random thing is sold out this week? Like, why is all of a sudden, baked beans are off? Why now?
Why? I don't know that answer. So, is it after this meeting and all the talk and all the hand wringing? I mean, is it changing? I would not expect it to. Yeah.
I don't think it's the kind of thing that, one, you can't change it on a dime. It's not like suddenly you flood the ports with the human labor that's needed to move cargo, and the problem is fixed. There's still problems of, we're really short on truck drivers throughout this nation. And by the way, this is not just a US problem. The supply chain issues are driving up inflation in Europe. We're seeing supply chain issues in Asia. It does appear to me that the pandemic started it, and until the pandemic is over, and it's not, we may still experience these kind of weird constraints.
I mean, people don't like to hear it and don't like to admit it. To your original point, these are always supply and demand issues. And right now, a lot of people have the money, and there is pent up demand, and we're just want stuff. I mean, gas prices it'll all fix itself. I'll tell you what'll fix the gas prices: have a pandemic. Don't drive as much. There you go. Gas will be cheap. You'll be amazed how quickly You'll be amazed how quickly that price goes down.
Not just that, your car insurance prices went down. You got refunds from your car insurer because you weren't driving, and now those prices are going up.
You don't have you don't have a teenage driver.
I don't,
okay.
No.
There, as a parent, there's one of those moments when the insurance guy even told me, he goes, "Are you driving?" I said, "Yes." He goes, Pull over and calm down." That is a rough moment as a parent. That phone call.
Do you want? I'm curious. Do you want to tell me how much you're paying for car insurance?
I can't. It's obscene. It hurts so badly. Your chest, like you stop breathing for a little bit. It's a number you just couldn't imagine. Sorry. You got a ways to go, right? I mean, yours are what, 7 or 8?
Well, and also I live in Manhattan for now, so it is entirely possible in Manhattan to have teenagers who don't drive.
Don't drive, yeah. Yeah, good. Keep it that way.
I thought that was happening everywhere. I mean, I thought in Austin, all the kids wanted to Uber around.
Oh, they do that too, you mean? Yeah, they do that too. So you get the double whammy. You get the Uber charges and...
Well, is paying for Uber more expensive than paying for insurance?
Yeah, I mean, there used to be this idea. I used to wonder about this. Why even have a car? Just Uber everywhere. But Uber prices have gone up pretty dramatically.
Gas prices have gone up.
Yeah,
they have to.
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure. I'm just counting on the day of driverless cars. That's all. I just want that. Let's just get there.
Well, I mean, Jeff, not to introduce a new level of worry though, but if you teach a car to solve for efficiencies, you have artificial intelligence that says you need to look for inefficiencies, and you teach a car to do that, and the car goes, okay, I'm driving along. What's the biggest inefficiency right now? It's the human who keeps trying to take the wheel.
That artificial intelligence. You have you're going to have a teenage son. A pinball machine is sharper than the teenage son. I'll trust the driverless AI any day of the week. You just wait. You go ahead and sit there on the driver's side. You'll see.
But not if it solves for the inefficiency of my teenage son.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough. So what do you know about this? I mean, now the effect, I don't know what to make of the freak out about whatever Omicron or whatever variant that is. I mean, the market's freaking out. The market doesn't know what to do. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows what to make of it. And Republicans are saying Fauci's the devil. There you go. There's the scenario.
Well, that's new.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Never mind.
Yeah. Right. Right.
I think what we need to do is we need to stay adaptable. Because, as I said, the pandemic is not over. We all want it to be over. I want it to be over, but it's not. And the Fed pointed out that every new wave of this coronavirus that happens, the economic impact is less than the previous wave. So the trend is going in the right direction. But, the virus is mutating, and we're having new challenges to deal with. And does the vaccine protect us? And that's the next step does it? But you saw the immediate reaction in the markets. And that's because nobody wants to see lockdowns happen again. And right now, it's not happening in this country, but elsewhere it is happening, that they're reverting back to closures or earlier closures or new restrictions. And, I keep a close eye on gaming in Macau, where a lot of the companies I cover make most of their money pre-pandemic times. The restrictions are still such that they just haven't bounced back to what, say, Las Vegas has. And every time you have this new specter of something that is going to keep restrictions in place or add additional restrictions, it keeps the business from rebounding.
So I'm kind of curious about that. So did the Fed, and Joe Biden has tried it as well, but again, he's handicapped by the complete polarized world that we live in, the culture war that we live in. So who's the calming voice in all of that? And you would think we would learn something from the first go around of the pandemic, and that is what to say and when as it pertains to the economic issues of this country.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got yesterday from the CDC this sort of, pretty significant urging for people to go get booster shots and not wait on that anymore. As well as I feel like at this point, I don't know. I know a lot of people who have not gotten vaccinated. I don't think a new variant is going to be the thing that convinces them to get vaccinated. Like if you have reached this point in the pandemic and you didn't get the shot, you have other deep-seated reasons not to do that, and a new variant is not going to be the thing that convinces you. So I'm not sure that the CDC coming out and urging you to do it again is going to do it. We saw the same thing in New York City, like the mayor coming out and saying, okay, now's the time to get your shot. I'm like, well, okay, let's see how that works.
John McClellan is the co-founder and creator of ATX Hot Sauce, now in all 50 states and several retail outlets as well. So what we're going to do today is we're going to let this social media rock star chef walk us through 4 different sauces, and then I'll taste and we'll tell everyone why they should buy. You can give the science behind these, and then I'll make the simple recommendation. Go to atxhotsauce.com. All right,
I don't think anybody's heard the website.
Yeah, I know.
About you, Jeff, but it is atxhotsauce.com.
I'll say
I got that one right.
45 times, atxhotsauce.com. So let's do it.
I brought 4 flavors here, and we're going to test your palate today. Okay. And I only brought 4 because I didn't think you could handle 5 or 6.
Yes,
probably a smart move. Yeah. And so the first one we're going to try here, it's called Beet Heat. And just like the name implies, it has beets in it. It's made with red Fresno peppers. Red Fresnos are red peppers that are they're hotter than a jalapeno and a little bit less than a serrano. So not super hot here, just a lot of really good flavor. So we're going to start with this one, and then we're going to move up the chain.
Okay. I've had the Beet Heat, but okay.
Yeah, we're going to try it though.
It goes well with a cab. All right, Jeff's savoring Beet Heat.
I'll even do it with you, so that should be all right. Now remember, it is hot sauce.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's hot sauce. Trust me, man.
Wait, is that one hot to you?
No. A little.
Yeah. The great thing with the fermentation process is you get a bunch of the flavor right up front.
Yeah.
And then the heat comes, but then it dissipates pretty quickly, especially with the red Fresnos. This is not a very spicy one, but it is a very tasty one. Goes on great on sandwiches.
Beet Heat.
Beet Heat. BEET. Heat.
All right. Go to atxhotsauce.com.
That's right.
I don't know if there is a singular calming voice. Didn't we see that over the last couple of years, that you wanted there to be a unifying voice and there just wasn't?
Yeah, no, I thought if nothing else, it'd be sort of my criticism of Anthony Fauci. He talks too much and talks in circles. And the CDC, I think, again, it's probably maybe not a fair criticism because these are moving targets. But I think if nothing else, they've done a miserable job of communicating in very simple ways. It's just kind of been all over the place. And I'm just sort of curious about...
do you think there is someone capable?
I don't know. I was asked, dumping that on you. That's why. Because you said
Oprah.
The Fed chair was trying to calm the markets.
No, I think we need Oprah. to whom much is given,
Okay.
much is required.
Okay.
Come on, Oprah.
Oprah. Yeah. All right.
I mean,
What,
she's
what does
super
she do?
smart.
Go to Wall Street and just walk to the front there and say, "Settle down, everyone."
I don't know. 'Cause clearly you're not nominating me to be the unifying voice, and I'm on your show, and I'm not doing that great of a job even now. So it's not going to be me. What do I know about being a unifying voice? I'm ready to just throw more fuel on the fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. There's a vote for Oprah. I don't think that's a terrible idea. I mean,
Right.
she can complete sentences
But
and
also-
put it all together.
Did we talk about this? The mayor in Texas who, during the whole storm that froze your utilities, he said, "Hey, you know what? Sometimes you just got to take care of yourself."
Yeah. I know.
I'm back on this. You know what? So inflation is high. We know that there's supply chain issues. I was kicking myself on Black Friday because the things that I was trying to buy, they were sold out. And I know that there's supply chain issues. Why did I wait till Friday to try and buy it? Why didn't I do it on Monday or Tuesday? And then I kick myself because sometimes you just got to take care of yourself. Sometimes, and it's hard to do. We're so interwoven, our supply chain and our talent pool and our, how we get our food. It's not like we go out and farm ourselves and feed ourselves. We rely on each other and the systems to work properly. And when they don't, it's hard to revert to. I mean, we're just not used to that kind of hardship.
Are you nominating that hickish mayor?
No, I just think he might have been right. I mean, it was an unfortunate.
Wow. Yeah.
It was an unfortunate way to say it.
Yeah.
Right. And when people are freezing,
Yeah.
to appear to turn a blind eye to human suffering is not good.
Yeah.
But I do think we just have gotten soft and spoiled. And when we can't get toilet paper when we expect it, tempers flare. And I saw this, I've seen it in natural disasters. You have about 3 days of human goodwill and neighborly care. And then it all evaporates and people just are furious. And I think we never got over our fury over politics. We're not over our fury over the lockdowns and the masks. And now we have supply chain issues and gas prices are high and the whole world is going to hell in a handbasket. And I'm like, well, listen, we have antibiotics and we have food. And my grandmother, bless her heart, she grew up in the mountains in Appalachia and was walking to school 2 miles every day without pants or, little cotton dress and holes in her shoes. We're soft.
Wow. Man. You sure you don't want to be that voice? You just want to tell to all of America you're soft. Get up. Let's talk about gambling for a second. This is amazing. The transformation, the smartest business is the NFL. It figures everything out. It just is the gift that keeps giving. The transformation of the NFL and frankly, media business to embrace gambling is pretty remarkable because it wasn't that long ago, not even back to the old timey days of my days of playing, that gambling and pro football you just don't even go there. There were some guys that got in trouble, were suspended by the NFL for being in a charity arm wrestling competition in a casino in Vegas. They got suspended. Then 3 years later, Tony Romo was in trouble. He was not allowed to show up in Vegas at a fantasy football conference. Next thing you know, and this is like within 5 years, betting lines, betting show, the merger of gambling, it's brilliant. I mean, it's a brilliant move. But the merger of the embrace of gambling is a shocking turnaround. Correct?
It is a complete turnaround.
Yeah.
I don't know how shocking. I'm shocked that when I started covering gambling as an industry, that there was still, this was pre-PASPA. PASPA was the rule that kept states from engaging in sports, in allowing and permitting sports gambling. And the Supreme Court overturned that in 2018. I started covering gambling in 2017, and I couldn't really understand why all of these professional leagues were fighting gambling, because I thought, well, it makes sense. People are already gambling. They're already doing it on the black market. Why don't you legalize it and make money off of it? And so that's what they're doing. But yeah, you're right. I don't know if you saw, I interviewed Drew Brees a few weeks ago, because now he's a new commentator for NBC, but he's doing a little blip for PointsBet, which is a partner with NBC Sports. Every Sunday, he's coming on and he's talking about the actual bets for the games.
Yeah. And
so it's becoming more and more integrated, where when somebody makes, a field goal, you're going to talk about how that pays out and like who is going to benefit from that. Or, in this case, earnings season for, say, DraftKings was a bust in large part because the favorite teams were winning during football and covering their spreads. And so who's left holding the bag but the sports book? And it costs them money when the favorites win.
But media companies, like there is, I don't know, it's happening almost daily now. The sports media industry, or entertainment media for that matter, it's like coming from the gambling operators are now gobbling up the sports media. That seems to be the trend.
Yes.
And they're saying, listen, we have the gambling. Why don't we just get the personalities? And there we go.
Yep. You're exactly right. And, speaking of a remarkable turnaround, so ESPN, which is owned by Disney, already has partnerships with Caesars and with DraftKings, and they've been floating this idea out. I think ESPN is floating it from my reporting. I don't think it's coming from the companies, but we're willing to license ESPN to a gambling company for $5 billion, which is a lot of money.
And they need it.
Right. And so, and a lot of these companies, say Caesars, for instance, Caesars has already said it's going to spend $1 billion on marketing its new Caesars Sportsbook app. That's going to be the marketing budget for its rollout. And it knows it's going to take a hit for a little while in terms of profitability because it's willing to spend the money to get people in and using it. So ESPN is going to get in this game, right? Disney has always had a very firm, solid stand against anything that could infringe on its family-friendly brand.
Right.
Right. They don't serve alcohol at the parks.
They don't.
Universal does. You can go get a beer at Universal.
Well, then I'll start going there then. Sorry.
So the point is, the money to be made is enough to make these big organizations change their minds.
Okay, but go back to the original legal and ethical dilemma. This is the way, and my father was an NFL referee, so I knew how, for a long time. I grew up around the game, and I knew how, there's signs, giant signs in the walkway to a locker room about the NFL stance on gambling. The reason used to be that, well, if the gamblers get a hold of you, you'll throw a game. And once a game is thrown, you become, the person trying to watch on TV. If it's not real and it's not authentic, it's just wrestling. So once the game is fixed, or they think it's fixed, the credibility is ruined. That used to be the theory, is that gamblers could pay you more. Obviously now there's so much money in pro football, some gambling operation or some bookie couldn't go and find Dak Prescott and pay him more than he's making now. I mean, it's just not even worth it. I'm wondering now if the pendulum doesn't swing back and say, wait a minute, these conglomerates with all the power, they got more power than bookies, with all the power are now involved. Does it start to introduce that suspicion all over again that, as you said, they lost money by the favorite not covering? Is it not going to invite, well, my gosh, not only do they own the network, they own that, and they own that, and they own that, and they own that, and they kind of want that team to win. I don't believe it ever be fixed. I'm just saying it's almost like it's going to reintroduce that suspicion there.
Well, I mean, it's a good point. And not only that, but, for college players, right? Like in New Jersey, you can't bet on New Jersey college sports. That was a real problem for me in March Madness because Syracuse was playing Rutgers and I couldn't bet on my own team. The problem, I guess you could say these guys who might get paid for image and likeness deals or whatever, but it might be lucrative for them to go and throw a game because they personally stand to benefit on a bet that gets made, or their family does, or their friends does, or whatever.
Yep.
The thing is, with the software in place that we have now, they can track all that. They know it's that whole know your customer software that's put into place. And so they can see irregular bets. There are companies out there that are already working on how do we see that this player is making an irregular bet and how it lines into the way that the games are going. If there's a sudden upset or if, someone just really kicks a field goal that they should have made or whatever, like how does it line up? And so is it possible that somebody could still get away with it? Sure.
Yeah.
We're in a totally different playing field, so to speak, than they were in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s because of the technology.
Yeah. Okay.
It just, it's just different.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like, and that's the same argument. It would say, once gambling, I guess Howard Hughes came into Vegas and brought it all above board and it's all regulated, strictly regulated. You're saying that it's so above board and so transparent. The fix would be plainly obvious.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying, and we look at a federal level, drugs are regulated too. It's not that we've never seen pharmaceutical companies get in trouble, or look at the opioid crisis. That all happened under the watch of a highly regulated industry and system. It didn't work. So it's not that bad things can't happen. Bad things can happen. But right now you have all of these companies, a lot of publicly traded companies who are regulated not only by the gaming regulators, but they're regulated by the SEC, by the FTC, they've got all of this oversight and they're making money. Why do you want to mess up making money by doing something illegal?
Yeah, because getting busted on this, you're done.
But I think a bigger problem for where we are with sports betting and with mobile betting is if you look at Europe, which is a much more mature gambling market, they've had, these sports betting shops on every corner out there. But the advertising and it got to be so in your face, so omnipresent that now the regulators in Europe are cracking down and they're limiting, advertising can only be between 1 and 4 in the morning or whatever, something ridiculous. So the pendulum swinging back against gambling is real. And it's something that our nascent industry in the United States should look at and say, we don't want this eventual pushback. How do we avoid it? Maybe by not plastering advertising all over every single game that comes on. And especially in states where gambling is legal, that's what's happened. You go around sports coverage now and it's all sports gambling advertising.
Is there legit, other than obvious, just genuine concern about people and finances, is there any evidence so far that we threw the door open a lot, not Texas, of course, it would be the devil, but threw the door open for mobile gaming? Is there evidence so far that, is there real concern that there are problems already?
Part of the advantage, these companies would say, to mobile gaming is that, again, all of your transactions are being tracked. So if you know that you're a problem gambler, you can go in before you ever get into trouble and mortgage your house away and sell your kids. You can go in and say, here's my loss limit. I'm not willing to lose more than $500 or whatever it is. In Europe, they're enforcing loss limits. They're telling the companies, here's the loss limit. You're not allowed to take more than this. And that's not good business. That's not good business for the companies.
Yeah.
They want people, if you're loaded and you can afford to lose $10,000, play on. if you're poor and you can't afford to lose $10,000, then you should have a loss limit. And the mobile apps make it possible to set those limits.
I never do the mobile gaming thing. I just pretty much stick to martinis and the craps table, which is not very smart either. So I go in and set a mobile limit. I mean, if I'm a problem gambler, or if I'm just like any gambler, the next pick is going to hit big. I'll move it up a little bit. Can you move it?
I think once I don't know, because I'm not a problem gambler, and I also don't gamble online.
Yeah.
Yet. I've made a couple of sports bets, but they're big losers.
Who do you bet on?
Yeah, I'm not so good at sports betting.
Yeah, what happened? What stupid bet did you make? Are you the Packers fan?
The only time I've ever won a sports bet was in horse racing and on a long shot. But mostly, I don't really get the allure of sports betting because so much can go wrong. And
that's the allure. I mean, I tell you, it is fantasy football and gambling are the reason why the NFL is a giant successful business that the other night had 30-something million viewers. That's why. Dudes think they can figure it out.
That for the NFL especially, it's not just being in the business, right? Because we know, like in Arizona, the Cardinals now have a gaming license of their own.
Really?
It's the actual team.
How does that work? Is there a kiosk there at the locker room?
In Arizona, the way that the legislature set it up was that the gaming licenses would not go to the operators. They would go to the tribes and they would go to the sports teams. And then the operators would have to go in and partner with the tribes and the sports teams in order to launch sports gambling.
Okay.
So the way that it works is that the Diamondbacks have a sports betting license. The Cardinals have a sports betting license. There's some other teams there that also have sports betting licenses, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. And so you have Caesars and MGM, and you have these outside platforms going in and partnering with either the Native American tribes or the sports teams, so that they can offer sports betting.
Yeah.
And then what they bring to the table is a much better inside knowledge about how to run sports gambling or gambling at all. Caesars knows how to do that better than the Diamondbacks do or the Cardinals do.
I mean, your story on Drew Brees being involved, that is about as mainstream, popular guy as you could get. I mean, that was a pretty genius marketing move. So 2 years from now, sports media is casino companies, correct?
Yeah, I think largely that's going to be the way that goes. Or is it that casinos are now sports media companies?
Yeah. Good point. They take crypto in these sites?
They're all looking at how to do it. I was just at a conference, and in fact, I'll be at another one. Ask me next week after I do this conference tomorrow. But the crypto part of it is really interesting to these guys because it's all digital, because of the security that's involved with it. And the cybersecurity part of these platforms is top of mind. It has to be because, you're dealing with like baking, you're dealing with all of the financial account numbers and all of that, which makes them, the insurers, the cyber insurers say it makes them a big target.
Interesting. Okay, that's pretty that marriage is fascinating. That is, it's quite a group there. The crypto guys, the NFL owners. I mean, that is an interesting group together. All right, good stuff as always. Did you get the kids a Switch?
They're twins,
Yeah.
So, and I am anti-video games, but I'm sort of like if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, good luck with that.
They're already on my iPads.
Yeah, I was going to say, good luck with that. Good luck with that fight.
Yeah, so I sourced it from 2 different places, 2 different Switches, so that I don't have to listen to the never-ending battles over which game they're going to play.
Yep, know it well. All right, good seeing you.
I like the mustache, by the way. Looks good.
Wow. The mustache? It's like a whole...
it's like a Texas thing going on. You got like a Texas mustache going on.
Like a Fu Manchu kind of thing?
Well,
Is that what you're
quite-
implying?
I don't think
Let's
it's
not
quite.
go
No,
there.
to me it just looks like cowboy. It looks like Texas cowboy mustache.
That's me. Usually I wear a hat. I wear the hat and everything. Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
Next time.
Next time, the golf shirt and a cowboy hat, of course. All right, good seeing you.